Hi, welcome back to my garden. We just had a light rain this morning and everything's looking super fresh. So I wanted to just show you around and show you what's looking really good right now, what's exciting me the most. So starting here in the hummingbird garden, the irises are looking phenomenal. They're just so dark and dramatic. And they look so good with the rain. The lupins coming up behind them. There's a bunch of columbines. This rhododendron here is just a little bit past its prime, but I'll post a picture of it when it's looking at its best. Very popular with the bees. We call this area the hummingbird garden, so that's kind of the main focus. I also have these native camassias that are about to bloom. These are the great camas. And then I also have the little camas that are coming along too. We try to keep this going kind of all season for them. The irises are mostly for us, and there was basically one big overgrown clump of iris, and then a couple years ago I just divided it and kept dividing it, so now it's all over the place. So it's definitely one of the highlights. And when you see this part of the garden in winter, it's basically just mulch. There's kind of nothing here. So it's such a dramatic change. The Rose of Sharon is leafing out. There's a clematis that's kind of reached the top. I don't know if it's visible. Something else kind of exciting over here is the lemon tree. So this is about a year old. This is the first fruit we've gotten from it. And then it's covered in buds. So I think I'm going to take the fruit off so that hopefully it can start to form more fruit, or to encourage that. The beauty bush, I don't know if you can hear the hummingbirds, but they love it. I'll insert some footage here of the hummingbirds enjoying the beauty bush. And this one I kind of just trimmed the bottom to try to keep it kind of vase shape. This is one of my favorite views kind of through the garden. With the hammocks, it's a really nice spot to chill under the apple tree. The shade feels so good this time of year. This is a newish rhododendron here. And then this rose is amazing. The scent, it's kind of just, oh, the dogs are barking inside. It's kind of just I don't know, pretty basic, or I don't know, it's nothing fancy, but the scent is just glorious. And then along the house, when you're chilling over here, you just get that scent wafted on the breeze, and it's so nice. And then coming around to here, it's very much the season of the purples on this side too. So this is the anniversary garden, and it has kind of one big flush in early spring with the daffodils. There's a ton of fritillaries, and then this time of year it's basically all the purples coming through, and then there'll be another flush kind of in summer, and then late summer with the asters and the black-eyed Susans. And the theme is kind of purples and yellows. I think I was a little light on the yellows for this time of season, or for this time of year, but I just love these lupins so much. These are the native big leaf lupin. I started them from seed last year. So this last year had a couple of little spikes, and this year it's I don't know, 3 feet wide, maybe 4 feet tall, with so many blooms. And I haven't actually cut any off yet. As they start to form their seed pods, I'll cut them off to encourage them to keep going. And here, if it's not a super hot summer, these guys can keep going all summer. There's also some of the Iris siberica blooming in here. A bunch of the camassias, these ones get a bit more sun, so they're kind of already blooming. A couple of annuals, there's some petunias and osteospermum. There's a bunch of catmint looking kind of like wild in here. This is another new addition. It's an American wisteria, so not native to our area, but at least native to the continent. And these ones are like a little less vigorous than some of the other ones, so I wasn't as worried about this one kind of taking over. You can see it's like slowly coiling its way up here. Once it reaches the top, I wanted to take it like across, because I thought, again, just like with the scent, it would be so nice. The red valerian, another super popular one. I have a picture of both an Anna's and a Rufus hummingbird kind of enjoying it at the same time, or maybe squabbling over it. The Dutsia is just getting going. Oh, this beauty bush over here is actually not a cutting, but I dug up a clump of the other big one. I've done that a few times, like as I try to narrow the bottom, and they take really easily. So yeah, this one's a total bee magnet. I also have cuttings of this one that I want to plan out. And then something kind of exciting over here. These are some of our newer veggie beds. This one's for cut flowers, so I have like 3 rows of the king salmon straw flower, which I want to use for dried flowers. And in the back, these are dahlias, and it's actually like 2nd generation dahlias from the property. So I sowed some a couple years ago, and then a bunch of them over winter just in the ground. And then when they bloomed last year, I chose like from my favorite of the dahlias. It was kind of like a deep reddish pink. I chose seed from that. So we'll see what these end up looking like, but I'm pretty excited to see. And hopefully there'll be some cool ones. And I want to show you the veggie gardens as well. On the way, just stopping up at the cherries. Some of them are like getting pretty big, but it's like pretty loaded. So hopefully it'll be a good cherry year. And also the blueberries. I don't know because of the rain if there's bees on it, but there's so many blossoms, so I know it's going to be like loaded. Let me see if I can follow this guy without harassing him. The raspberry patch is filling in, and we got so much asparagus this year. It was year 3. We've stopped harvesting now just because like we harvested so much, and I wanted to make sure that there was enough left to that it can continue to like build energy and stuff, just because it was the first year. But it was so good. It was like a completely different vegetable. It was just like so tender. Even just having it raw in salads and stuff was amazing. And now the strawberries are just like going bananas. They're also in their 3rd year. So just like starting to form fruit. And then I also have some cosmos that I'm growing from seed. This is the Rubenza variety. And then also dill. So it's kind of, those are the things I do in this bed every year, and they seem to like growing with each other. And then here there's sorrel. It's like a mix, but I love the stems. This stuff's amazing in omelets. I think just because of the color, and also the leaves kind of hold their texture a little bit. And then there's a few rows of Walla Walla onions that we started from seed this year. Beetroot, red cabbage. The spinach has all kind of bolted. I think it got a little too hot and dry earlier in the season, but I'm still just like using it up. Nasturtium's coming up. Lewis loves marigolds, so we dot those around. And then over here I have a whole row of celery that we love for like salads or dipping in hummus or, whatever. So there's like 15 of those, I think. I have a spot here. I'm growing some squashes. And then I was thinking maybe cucumbers up the trellis. We'll see. Garlic in the back is looking good. Lots of carrots. We've had so much lettuce, which is awesome. We've just been eating a ton of it. I planted out my tomatoes a few days ago, so these are cherry tomatoes. What was the variety? Black cherry. I figured that the dark color fruit might ripen faster, so we'll see. A bunch of arugula here as well. I don't remember the variety. Some of it has started bolting, but it still tastes good, so we're just kind of going for it. And I figured as it gets like hotter, the tomatoes will maybe shade it out a little bit, which might keep it from bolting as much, I guess. Another rose. This one also has a fabulous scent. And then over here, I forget what these tomatoes were. So there's 6 plants, and these are our biggest ones, big red tomatoes. There's also a bunch of like broccolini broccoli, kale. These are all leeks. I don't know, they were kind of weird. I expected them to get bigger. This one's starting to bloom. So I think we're just going to use them at this size and then maybe do things differently next year. This is a planter I made recently, mostly with like succulent cuttings and stuff. I had a friend over and he was like, oh, you need like a really long, shallow dish planter for this table. So I got the chainsaw out and hollowed out a piece of dead wood. I kind of like this angle too because you can see under it, it looks so skinny. And then on this side, these were the Prudence purple tomatoes, which are like the in-between size ones. I have some beans sowed that will grow up the trellis here, and then also peas that have started blooming. So hopefully we'll start getting some fruit soon. We did these ones last year too. They're Alaska peas, so they're great, both as like snap peas and also as green peas. More of the salad. And this is also kind of an experiment. These are stevia leaf. Lewis likes sweetener in his tea, so we thought we'd, I don't know, just like experiment and see how those do as like a substitute. And then we're back around kind of near the front garden. This clematis is looking so good right now. And actually, I love it up against the dark wall color. Lady's mantle, kind of a good compliment. And then here, the potatoes are doing really well. We have 3 different kinds. We did like very earlies, earlies, and mids. I don't know if you can see Cosmo keeping a close eye. And just a little detour to show you one of my favorite rhododendrons. I don't have a name for this one, but I just like love the flowers so much. They're such a deep purple, and I love that they have the like kind of black leopard print on the inside of the leaves. I've also been loving all the pots. Things are still pretty young here, but I don't know, they're just like filling in all the fuchsias that we overwinter in the greenhouse. It's unheated, but it's kind of enough just to keep them going. Also hummingbird favorites. So this is kind of an extension of the hummingbird garden. Basically anything around the house, we plant stuff that the hummingbirds like so that we can watch them from indoors. This is the Princess Diana clematis, which I've been trying to get hold of for a couple of years, and I found one this year, so that's nice. It looks like it's about to bloom. It's like a group 3 one, so like one of the last ones to bloom, but it should kind of go all summer. More irises and stuff here. There's a bunch of foxgloves that self-seeded. They're invasive in our area, so I'm just gonna like choose my timing to like cut them before they start to go to seed. But for now, they look really pretty. And then I love these salvias. They're like I think maybe Gregii, the bush salvias. They bloom all summer for us, and they like the heat. They overwinter well here. And I took a bunch of cuttings from this one this past week, so I intend to put more kind of all around the house as well. I've been doing a ton of weeding. Another couple clumps of lupins. These ones are hybrid ones, and I didn't know if I wanted to take them out. I didn't know if they would mess with the native ones, which are these ones. So we'll see. Rhododendron season is pretty much done for us, or like on its way out. This was another addition from this year. It's like a azalea, and it just has like the prettiest flowers. I love them up against the dark fence too. This is Artemis's garden, which is like a hot garden. Not too much in bloom right now, but these Dutch irises are super cute. And the California poppies, these overwintered for us, so that's nice. It basically just means that they get going sooner. But I love the color. They're kind of just like the standard one. I had kind of a disappointment with these columbines because I grew them from seed. They were listed as our native columbine, so like the western columbine, and I'm pretty sure that these are the eastern columbine. So I probably won't let them go to seed, and then maybe just try to collect some red columbine seed of my own. But I was just annoyed because it took so long. Like I started them last spring, and after waiting for so long and having them be listed as the western one, it was kind of disappointing. And then, yeah, I did a bunch of weeding. This is the Shadow and White garden, and I planted out 17 of the white cupcake cosmos. So those will look great later in the season. The dogwood's kind of going over. That was blooming so beautifully for like a month. But you can see the roses. There's like a giant rose. I think of the rose as like the pet of the tree, and then I have a clematis that's going to be the pet of the rose. So we'll see how they do. The rose is covered in buds, and it goes like all the way up to the top. And then this side I'm really excited about. Right now it's basically just the Nepeta blooming, some of the Camasias. These irises were from like a clump somewhere else in the garden that I propagated. I think I planted like 15 of them all in here. But there's like the lavender, the echinacea. There's a little bit of like a helenium hedge in here too. Some of the native asters. Lots of stuff to come. And this azalea too, I'll have to do a picture from like a couple weeks ago because it was just like so gorgeous. And this one has kind of a sweet scent too, like almost a little clovey or something. And for this flower bed, it's kind of like pinks, corals, salmons, and also baby blues. So these were like volunteer forget-me-nots that I kind of just moved around from elsewhere in the garden. I sowed these delphiniums last year, so it's the first time they're blooming now. And I had a really hard time finding kind of like a sky blue variety in the stores, which is why I did them from seed. But yeah, I love how they look. This is our native huckleberry, and it's just been like covered in pollinators. I feel like it's maybe coming to an end a little bit, but you can see like all the flowers in here. As I was sitting and weeding on this side, I could just like hear all the sound from the bees. It's a rose I've been working on, trying to make it like a little tree form. And then this peony is like about to go. It's like full double pink flowers and really nice scent too. thanks for coming along for the tour. It's like one of my favorite times of the year to be in the garden. Things are just changing daily. I was away last weekend, and then when I came back, it was like the irises were fully blooming and like all these things were coming up that weren't like when I left. And it's kind of hard to like choose a time to film too, because like right now, like these guys are at peak, the lupins are doing amazing, but I know in like another 2 weeks it will be like the peonies and the lilies and things like that. So I might just have to film again then. But it's also just like so nice to sit in the garden and like listen to all the birds, watch the hummingbirds dart in and out. There's so many bumblebees and just like other insects around. The snakes are all sunbathing. When it drizzles, you hear the frogs everywhere. So it's just like, yeah, pretty magical time of year. So thanks for coming along for the tour, and I'll catch you next time.